Hi, this is Campaign at Adtech. Today we have with us Adam Goodman, the Director of AI in Advertising at Microsoft Advertising. He's going to take us through some of the playbooks some of the rules that marketers need to know. So Adam, nice to have you here with us today.
Thank you very much.
One of the things I really loved from your session yesterday was where you talked about how the shift from how brands used to optimize for keywords and today they're optimizing for share of conversation. And that's a whole different way in how marketers are thinking. Share of conversation is not something that they used to consider before because performance is difficult to measure. So if you could tell me a little bit about that shift and what it unlocks for marketers.
Yeah, it's a challenge that a lot of brands and agencies are talking to us about at the moment, is really trying to understand how are their content appearing in AI search.
Yeah.
I think the key thing, the message is, to appear in AI search, you have to have the foundations for SEO. SEO is not dead.
Yeah.
So you've got to have those foundations for SEO. What we're also talking about, though, is the importance of trust.
Okay.
Because brands need to establish themselves as the trusted, cited, authentic, and authority in order to appear in those AI answers. And so what we've been building is insights and a platform. It's really the very first time platform like us giving visibility into that. And so we released something called the AI Performance Report as part of the Bing Webmaster Tools.
So what are some of the insights in that? So for example, when you say that brands need to focus on becoming authoritative, for that, it's such a big mandate for brands. How do I become authoritative? How do I get cited? What are some of the rules that they need to do to ensure that they are viewed as an expert?
Yeah. So really there's three things. The first is, if you're a brand that's not indexing on Bing actively today, that's your first step. I'll go through what that looks like in a second. The second is, you've got to understand, well, what content, what information, how are these pages being cited in AI answers today?
Yeah.
That's where Bing Webmaster Tools, the AI Performance Report, comes into it. And then the third is really about making sure that your content is structured, readable, and up to date, so that these AI assistants can access that information.
Right. Yeah.
So let's start with number one, on making sure that you're using some of the insights today. So in the AI Performance Report, what it allows a brand to do is to understand how your brand and the page content from your website is being cited, what pages are being used, and even some of the keyword or grounding keywords and topics that are part of that conversation.
Yeah, we were talking about grounding earlier.
Correct.
Yes.
So it's the first time that a platform gives visibility into that. So that's been great. To build on the grounding part, which is where the trust kind of comes into it. So grounding, what a lot of people don't know, is that Microsoft AI grounding powers almost every AI assistant in the market.
Yeah.
Right? And so that gives us a huge ability to help consumers across any of the kind of conversational platforms, any AI assistant, other than a big competitor of ours. I want to go through that one.
Yeah.
But all of the other AI assistants are built essentially off AI grounding from Microsoft. What AI grounding is, it's almost like the final check. So when you put in a question or you start putting in a prompt into an AI answer, before that assistant gives you that response back, it looks at grounding and says, is this true? Is this authoritative responses? Am I getting this from a trusted source?
Yeah.
If it is, yes, then provide the answer. And that stops and reduces hallucinations. It makes sure that the content that it's providing is up to date, and kind of build from there.
That's amazing, because I think in the era of, say, deepfakes and synthetic content, it's more important than ever to know what you're reading, how is it cited, where is it appearing from.
Yeah.
And it's good that Microsoft does that. It's amazing that we do that.
Yeah. And it's increasingly more important, right? As consumers shift their behavior from going from a search engine and navigating through 10 blue links or multiple pages to go and get that content. AI responses are curating that information, and decisions are being made a lot quicker. I think some of the stats that we shared earlier on, consumers 33% shorter journeys.
Yeah.
So they're being aware of a brand, considering what their options are, making decisions really quickly now using these kind of AI responses.
I think you also talked about how there was a brand uplift via just these conversational models and how people want more conversation.
Exactly, iterative conversations. So
Yeah.
rather than, you used to come into search and you put in 3 keywords, you're not finding what you're looking for on the first page, you go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Now people are really starting to get a handle of deep personal prompts to make sure that the responses come back, and then they kind of build and iterate on top of that. So
one last thing I want to touch upon is we were talking yesterday about the difference between SEO, AEO, and GEO, and how AEO is kind of subset of GEO. So if you could take some of our viewers through that.
Yeah, so we actually believe there's actually 2 parts rather than 3 parts. I know that some people go, is it SEO, is it AEO and GEO? We actually think it's more of SEO and GEO.
Yeah.
Within GEO, you can kind of put the brackets of AEO, answer engine optimization, generative engine optimization. But you don't optimize or focus just on one or the other, because they are hand in hand together today. They're hand in hand together. Where that moves to in the future is going to be really interesting, because the web was built for clicking.
Yeah.
AI is built for acting. And so how, the agentic web and how agents are going to start acting on our behalf, is that using today's internet and structure of website content? It is at the moment. But where it's heading is going to be really interesting on how that plays a part.
So thank you, Arim, so much for joining us today. This was Campaign at Adtech. Hope you have a lovely day.